All right, the Bucks. It is talking Buccaneers with me, Fumane after Orlando Pirates knock out Dondol Stars in the Nedbank Cup Semi-Final via penalty shootouts. And before I get stuck in the game, I just like to start by partly apologizing, partly thanking some of you. The few people that noticed. I've been away. I've been absent. I'd gone AWOL from recording one of these, which I missed very much. But yeah, life has been a bit unpredictable. Stuff has come up in my life which I wasn't prepared for. But yeah, thankfully enough, thank God I am past that and ready for the remainder of the season. But thank you to everyone who's reached out. I think one of the things that got to me is I didn't realize that, in doing these videos, you start to build a bit of a community of people that care about you. And when you go missing, people start to ask, "Are you okay?" and things like that. So thank you for everyone that's been thinking about me in that way. I can tell you that I'm fine, and yeah, just looking forward to recording these. It felt like something had been missing in my life, and it was. But I'm back to recording, and yeah, let's just get stuck in the game now. I think I've got nothing negative to say about this game. I've got a few thoughts that I do want to spew out, but really nothing negative. I think what I do like about Pirates, especially these days, is we are becoming something of a well-oiled machine that is drilled to get results. And I mean, it's come very timely at a very crucial time of the season where we need results. And we've turned into that. I think it's very pleasing for me. I think there's a lot of things that I do think still need fixing, still need to be improved upon. However, I think it's that time when if you're going to get 1-0 till the end of the season now and qualify for that spot in the CAF Champions League and maybe even win the Nedbank Cup, it's a good season. It's a good end of the season. I think the mandate would have been, especially before the international break, this is something that I spoke about. They would have had a meeting in that Pirates camp. The coach, the head coach, even the management, the players, everyone working in the club, that it's the business end. This is the time when everyone needs to kind of dig it out, whatever you've got, leave it on the pitch, leave it at your work, leave it on the gym, and just to make sure that we meet our expectations. And yeah, it's so pleasing that we've ticked so far. The last 2 games we've won, which I didn't get to review and preview, we've won them. I've gotten a chance to watch them, and it's just very pleasing that we've got the job done, which is so important now, is just find a way to get the job done. And I think even today, in circumstances that aren't the most amazing, let's be entirely honest about that, it's not amazing to watch penalty shootouts. But at the end, it's like we stayed in the game. We didn't make a silly mistake, because that could have happened. We could have conceded a corner or something silly like that and conceded a second goal, right? But we didn't. Went to penalty shootouts and won. So yeah, I would like to start with giving credit to, just before I get into how Pirates played and things like that, start by giving credit to Dondol Stars. My expectation coming into this one, and I know a lot of people as well, thought we'd come against the naive Dondol Stars side, which would be very expansive. They like to play the ball, keep the ball. They're ball-playing side. And I would have thought that's the kind of Dondol Stars that we would have come up against. I think that maybe their expectations will have changed as they kept qualifying for the next round. But in truth, they know that they've exceeded their expectations by far. So losing against the Pirates side for them, I don't think is much of a big deal. They would have wanted maybe to go all the way, but I think they do seem to me like they're a side that like to impose themselves. Like they like to impose and play the way that they want to play. So it's not only a case of we want to go through, but in the way that they play, watching their previous rounds, it's like they actually play football. They play the football and not just rely on set pieces. However, today they had to rely on a set piece. In all honesty, they were not in the game, laid no glove whatsoever on Pirates. But I mean, for us, it's no news that we've conceded via a set piece, a corner. This has been our Achilles heel throughout the whole season. So we go up front, and even speaking about it, I'm thinking about a Chippa United game right at the beginning of the season. I think Kwame Pepra might have scored the opener. Maybe I'm mistaken about that, but we went ahead early in the game, and then late in the game we concede via a corner. Just silly things, and Chippa United get an equalizing goal right at the end. And that's just been us. Throughout, you look at most of the goals that we've conceded, it's via set pieces. And I mean, it's clear by now that we've got players that are very good aerially. So Nkosinathi Sibisi, Oli Sanda, who's not playing at the moment. But Nkosinathi Sibisi, Thapelo Xoki, players that are very good in the air. However, we still concede via set pieces. And then almost like on the opposite end of the spectrum is we score our set pieces on the other side. So I think it's a case of just the zonal marking system not working for us. Even just looking at the goal, how we conceded, you look at where Thapelo Xoki, who should be the tallest player, contending for those balls, where he's at. He's just standing with the goalkeeper there, waiting for an on-runner to come to him. Not challenging for the ball. So I think the zonal marking system, there's just been enough evidence to see that it doesn't work for us. And that's how we concede. And set pieces are a phase of play. I always say this, and other people have as well. So teams will make use of that. If you're caught slacking, if you're caught sleeping, they will make use of that, and you might find yourself out of the competition because you're just maybe not utilizing them as efficiently as you can. And I think we are not. I think the players that we have, we don't have to struggle with set pieces as much as we do. The number of goals that we've conceded this year, I'm not very much read up on the statistics, but I know just from my mind that we've conceded quite a number of goals via set pieces. But we scored a brilliant goal. Well, the lineups first. Dondol Stars lined up in a 4-2-3-1 versus our unchanged 4-2-3-1. A case of just building from the momentum again. I think the coach and the coaching staff will have decided, you know what, let's not change a winning team. This team has gotten us the points, gotten us the results. Last maybe 3-4 games that it hasn't been changed, the starting lineup. So we played in a 4-2-3-1, Sipho Shaheen, a goalkeeper, Innocent Maela, captain at left back, right back, Paseka Mako. Not going to say much about that. And then, solid pair, centre back of Nkosinathi Sibisi and Thapelo Xoki. Double pivot midfield, which is solid again, of Tim and Monari. Left wing, Lodge primarily started left wing. Munapule Saleng, right wing. Kabelo Dlamini playing as the 10. And then up front, Jukamanja. And I think we started to see this. So just one thing that I want to say is that, the way that we line up now, it's almost like we've got a very good base, which is our 4 at the back. Good defenders on the side backs, Maela and Marco. Very good defenders, work rate, marking, that kind of thing. Maela not as good going forward, I don't think anyway. Marco not as good attacking on the right side. I think he's a very good attacking fullback just when he's playing on the left, because he's got the ability to play them first time. So what's limiting for him is that he can't go down the line to the byline, because he's always got to cut back and bring it to his left, because he's a one-footed player. If there's a criticism for Paseka Mako, which for me there aren't, it's not his problem that he's being played on the side that he's not the best at. So but very good defenders, very energetic, especially Mako. Always fighting, always tackling, always almost conceded a penalty, which I think, in all fairness, that was a penalty for Dondol Stars. However, he's always just applying himself defensively. His work rate can never be doubted. Very good defenders. So we've got this base of the 4, and then we've got the 2. Tim and Munari, very responsible midfielders. If you contrast them with someone like Ndlondlo, who's more of a he can go on adventures where he goes up front and things like that. Even Fortune Makaringa, I think, is someone who plays like that. Whereas with Tim and Munari, what you do have is protection, right? They're always going to be in that midfield, sort of shielding and doing the water carrying and protecting the defense, going side to side, kind of shielding that back line. And we've got a very solid base. And I think that's the strategy now. That's the plan. It's almost like we've got this 6 that is shielding us. Every one player will join now and again, whether it be the fullback, whether it be one midfielder who will go a little bit up into and join a bit of the attack, or it be the fullback this side, which is Marco, who will also join. I've seen a couple of times him making an inverted run into almost like the half space where you'll have Loch who can then go outside and cross with his right foot. So I'm very impressed with that sort of thing. But the creativity, I started seeing this in the Swallows game. For those of you that remember, I think we won 4-1 in that game. We've just got a four-man attacking line of interchangeability. So these players will swap positions every now and again. The movement is one will go out and then the one will come in. So it's almost like, especially the 3 behind the main striker, Dlamini, Saleng, and Loch, they will interchange position. At one point, Loch might pop up on the right, he might pop up on the center, I beg your pardon, or on the left, which he's good at all those positions. Or Saleng will go to the left or come through the center, or Dlamini will go to the left or come deep and things like that, which I think has worked to aplomb so far. I think, though, if I do have a criticism for that, is that we lack the numbers in the box. I think it's no coincidence that we don't score so many goals. We have at times, but I think if you really just would analyze it, or if you might have realized or noticed, like I have, that what we do lack is we are very pretty, and it's something which is I'd always been asking for, that we need to utilize more of the half spaces, the channels, force interplays. Make use of like the intelligent and smart players, technically good players that we have in our club, in and around those half spaces and in the channels. Beginning of the season especially, and part of the second part of the season, I wasn't seeing a lot of that. All I was seeing was transition football, get the ball to our fast wingers and things like that. Even when we had Lepasa, it was almost like we'd rely on the speed of Lepasa, like how explosive Lepasa and Saleng were and are. But we've almost changed now, where it's not so heavily reliant on Saleng now. It's almost like Loch again there's almost been a revival of Loch, the player that we know is there. But I do think that it suits the whole club to have players like Loch and Dlamini. Dlamini, again, is another one who's playing well for me. Always known that player is there. He's very good on the ball, very neat, very skillful. Just the end product, again, I think is something that he can even do better at. But you look at the interplay between him, Loch, Saleng, Chukamanja, again, another intelligent players. So we've got these intelligent front 4 players. But again, they do most of their work outside the box, which is concerning because the goals don't come. We get the one-off chance, yes, we do, and thank God we've scored those ones. But I do think that when you come against teams that will sit compact and almost in a low block, you might struggle a little bit with if you don't get the numbers in the box, because you need to get players in the box. You need to be able to get players in the box. All that movement is so that you can move the organization around, get the people in the box. Most goals are scored from the 6-yard area. That's the truth. You're not always going to score fancy goals and things like that. So I think the problem, it's not so much of a problem, but I do foresee that even though we play very fancy, very nice football, we link, but we need to get the people in the box. And Chukamanja and Erasmus, are not those players. I don't think they're not the target man, the out and out striker. Erasmus has transitioned his game. Is more of like and we've seen this a lot. I mean, we've seen again in the Swallows game. You will have seen how he was setting up. He set up Saleng for a nice goal. The last goal, I think, in that game. Even now, the goal that he sets up for for Lodge in this game, is almost him dropping off and doing his work in that half space, and just technical brilliance all around. Dlamini hitting it into, I think it might have been to Lodge, and then Lodge into into Erasmus, I beg your pardon. Erasmus turning, playing it into, so it's Erasmus vacating that space, leaving that space for on runners from outside the box. Good. But the point that I was making is that, going forward, even in the following season that is to come, I think we need to get players in the box. That's how we're going to score more goals. We need to be getting players in the box, suffocating our opposition, getting them into their own box and creating chances like that. We did create some chances. I mean, part of the reason why I'm not mad at how we win this game, I've accepted it. I'm not very, mad. It's because I saw that we create the chances. So that's not concerning for me. If we're creating the chances, I mean, Lodge missed a brilliant chance. A couple of other ones that I can't quite remember now, but I do know that we created chances that we could have taken and won the game comfortably. But we missed those ones. But yeah, I mean, there's not a lot to say, not a lot negative about this game. If someone didn't watch the game, they will think that we had... it was a bit of a tough one. Dondol, the great giant killer, they gave Pirates a tough time. And if you watch the game, it's not really. I think it's that we didn't make use of our potential. I think our club has got so much potential. Well, the club and even the team has got so much potential. We've got so much potential. But I know our coach is very safe. He's very safe in his approach, which helps. All credit to him. I mean, like the way that we've collected points and not dropped points is because he's a very responsible coach. He likes being responsible in the players that he picks and things like that. Sometimes to a fault where we play with 5 defenders, 3 midfielders and only 2 forwards. But that's in the past now. However, there is potential, especially attacking. I think we could even be more attacking. Which might mean that we concede a few counterattacks and things like that. But I do think that we've got more potential for more goals and be more imposing on the opposition. But you know what? I'll take the wins for now, especially at this time of the season. I'm not really looking at how we're playing now. I think at this time it's business end. We need results. If we're going to win that Nedbank Cup trophy, no one's going to remember how we won it. I don't even remember how we won the MTN8, to be entirely honest. Maybe except the Sundowns game. But yeah, you never remember these things. You just remember that we won it that year. And more importantly, we've got to get to that CAF. We've got to play at the highest level. We've got to get to CAF. This is something that we are obsessed with because that's where Pirates belongs. Pirates belongs in Africa. We are African royalty. I know Sundowns has become something of that of late, but we are the original African royalty in this country, and we've got to be playing in that competition. I do think it's going to get our level up. We need to be playing, obviously not week in, week out, but regularly in Africa, competing at the highest level. This will quickly teach us where we need to plug gaps. I think playing in the PSL with all due respect, we're not coming up against teams that are really testing us. I think playing in Africa, I think about years like in 2013, 2014, 2015, the great teams of Andile Chali, Manyesa, and all those guys, Tanan Jumaelo, and we had a really, really good team that was coming out, Sfiso Mieni, Patrick Pungwayo, all those guys, Matlaba and stuff. We were playing against good teams, and these players were tested, and we knew what our players were made of. And I think if we want to make that extra step forward to challenge Sundowns, we've got to be playing in Africa. But you know what? Let me leave it here for now. I'm glad we won this one. So one more game. It was supposed to be 5 games left. It's 6 now, including our next game in the Nedbank Cup. Super excited for that, to see how Chiefs plays in their game. Probably going to lose those guys. But yeah, looking forward to Cape Town this weekend. We owe them one for what they did to us in Cape Town in the reverse fixture. I think we drew or lost that one. I think we might have lost 2-1. I remember seeing Craig Martin in that game, who has gone AWOL, but that's not the point of this podcast. Oh, by the way, good to see Bandile Shandu. I wonder if we might go back to playing a right back at right back, but again, it's a case of I don't think he's going to want to mess with a winning team. So let's go with the winning Bucks versus Cape Town. Let's get the points. See you in that one. Up the mighty Bucks. Cheers.